Welcome back to KCEN Kickoff here on 6 Plus, where we kick off your weekend of sports here just a little bit early on Wednesday. I'm your host, Ethan Love, and MLB playoffs have started. It is October 1st, but October baseball did start a bit early yesterday. We got 4 great series, Tigers, Guardians, Cubs, Padres, Red Sox, Yankees, and Reds, Dodgers. Let's start with the first series, Tigers, Guardians. Tarek Skubal, 14 strikeouts. Yeah, 14 strikeouts. And the only way the Guardians got their run was on a little infield single. And it's kind of what they've been doing for the last few games, where they actually did it against Skubal when they had that blow-up inning before the season ended. And the Guardians almost came all the way back. They were down 2-1 in the bottom of the ninth, and Jose Ramirez gets up, hits a ground ball to Javi Baez. Torkelson misses the pick, and Jose Ramirez ends up turning it into a triple. So we got a runner on third, nobody out, and Vest, shout out to Vest on the Tigers. He got out of it. Perfect execution of a jam there in the bottom of the ninth. And the same thing happened in the Red Sox-Yankees game. Aroldis Chapman, bottom 9, loads the bases with nobody out. And then he strikes out Giancarlo Stanton. He gets a pop-up, and then he gets another strikeout. Loaded the bases just to get out of it. 2 great relief performances from Aroldis Chapman and Vest there yesterday in Game 1 of these wild card series. Cubs-Padres was probably it was the second day game, and the Cubs look good. They had those back-to-back home runs that put them up. And again, with the 3 of these games, it was more of a pitching duel during all of them. And that's what wins in October. And, it's been that way for years. Great pitching wins games in October. Matthew Boyd for the Cubs, besides the first run he gave up in the first inning, he looked great for the time that he was out there. Again, Skubal did a great job. And Crochet, just masterful performance. And that's not to discredit Max Fried either, because he was actually winning that pitcher's duel until Aaron Boone pulled him out of the game and put in Luke Weaver, who ended up giving up 2 runs there. And then the Yankees bullpen gave up 3 overall and ended up losing the game. But the outlier game yesterday was definitely Reds Dodgers, 10-5. Hunter Green gives up a leadoff home run to Shohei Ohtani, and you couldn't have scripted it any better if you were the Dodgers. Having that leadoff home run from Ohtani in the first inning just sets the tone for the entire postseason. And the Dodgers bullpen did look a bit lackluster, letting them back in the game. But hey, when you score 10 runs, you're not going to lose very many games. So we had a great day 1 of MLB playoffs so far. At the time of this recording, there are game 2s of these series going on right now. The Guardians and Tigers are in the middle of this game right now. It's currently top of the 7th as we're recording this, tied up 1-1. So we'll see if the Tigers can clinch and move on to the ALDS. And then the Padres and Cubs just started as well, with the Cubs looking to clinch after their win yesterday. But yeah, we got a great lineup of games for MLB. We'll keep track of this as we come in the coming weeks. But yeah, MLB started. It's great. And hopefully we can see some great matchups. We got the AL East little tournament down there. We got the Blue Jays, Red Sox, and Yankees all in the postseason. The Mariners look great. As a Rangers fan, it's hard to root for the Mariners, but I am rooting for them to do good because, they've never even been to a World Series. And then the NL, you got a ton of powerhouses. You got the Dodgers, you got the Phillies, you got the Brewers. I wonder if the Brewers can keep it going because they had an amazing regular season. But that's going to do it for MLB this week. We got, again, some great series. But we're going to go ahead and transition into the world of football after this quick break. Welcome back to KCEN Kickoff here on 6 Plus. I'm joined with Sarah again. We missed her last week. We had Kevin on to talk football with us. And, we can only take so much from Georgia fans. So we got Sarah back on here. But let's just get right into the local stuff. A&M stays undefeated. They're now ranked number 6. They got Mississippi State this week, Florida next week. Sarah, do you think the Aggies can keep it rolling?
Absolutely. Towards the latter half of their season, they do have a gauntlet coming up with 13th ranked LSU and then immediately taking on Missouri. If they can secure wins through Florida and Arkansas and take on those ranked opponents, the SEC championship game could be in their future. I know the topic of A&M being back. Are they back? Are they finally going to do something? Has been a hot topic of our discussion, and it's looking like it. I know that Marcel Reed Heisman stock is going up as A&M continues to be undefeated. So I think we're just going to have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, there's also some social media buzz going around about him and potentially Suni Lee, the gymnast, the Team USA world-famous gymnast, were spotted at a bar in College Station. So that's been circling around on social media as well. We're not sure if that's true or not, but it's a good look for Mr. Reed. As A&M tries to continue their great season. And we said it beforehand, before the season started, that, hey, this is a very doable schedule as far as SEC standards go, but you still have the one roadblock at the very end of the tunnel, Texas. That's going to be the game that everyone's watching. And if Texas really can turn things around with Arch Manning, it's really looking like that is going to be a great game and one that everyone's going to have their eyes on. But over in Waco, Baylor got things done against Oklahoma State. They've been going through it all with Mike Gundy getting fired a couple weeks ago, and now they put up 21 points on Baylor, which scares me, honestly, as someone who's trying to look at Baylor objectively and see how the rest of their season is going to go. We know that the defense has not been great all season long, and to give up 21 points to a team that just fired their coach, that really has not been able to generate offense at all. To put this in perspective, Tulsa gave up, I think it was 12 points to Oklahoma State, and Baylor gave up 21. So it's a bit worrying to me. Sarah, what do you think that this means for Baylor going forward? Is their defense really this bad?
I don't know. Their defense, yeah, they need some work. They need to get it together because Oklahoma State has not looked like a great football team. Mm-hmm. But they also were able to find stops and pulled away from that game with a 10-point lead. So I'm not as worried for the Bears. I would be smashing that panic button over and over if it was like a close game, maybe like a 3-point win or a 1-point win or even one score win. But I don't know. We'll just have to see kind of how it plays out. I think the defense definitely needs some work, but the offense is coming in clutch. But as we all know, you can't continue to be good with just a good offense. You need to have a well-rounded team, especially to be competitive if you want to make a national championship run or even compete in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, I don't know if Baylor's going to be competing for any national championships this year, but they do have a game against K-State this weekend. They have not looked great to start the year either, but they have a good offense, so that defense is going to get tested once again. That's probably going to be a really high-scoring game. But kind of zooming out now into the national scene, there was a ton of big games this past weekend. The biggest one, of course, was Penn State's whiteout game against Oregon, and they still could not get it done against Oregon. James Franklin is catching the heat. Drew Auer did not play good near the end of that game. Is Penn State ever going to be able to win a big game, Sarah? I don't think so. I mean,
I don't think so either.
If it's not now, then win.
Which is why I was a little bit shocked last year when they played SMU in the national championship playoff and won that game. I thought that I thought SMU was going to make a miracle run and end up winning that game. So they had a little bit of hope there, but I guess the allegations are still true that Penn State always chokes when the lights are too bright.
Yeah, and then there was some more too. The just stereotypes continue. Kirby Smart did not beat Alabama, and that was a game.
I think he's only beaten Bama once in his coaching career at Georgia.
Yeah, it's been bad for Kirby Smart against Alabama, and this was a game that looked very winnable going into it, and Alabama put up a statement. So shout out to Kalen DeBoer. Alabama's trying to turn its season around after the early loss to Florida State. And speaking of Florida State, Virginia, our old quarterback Chandler Morris at TCU, they got the win against Florida State too. A huge upset for Virginia. Just to cap off a great weekend of college football.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that the Virginia was able to pull out a win on that game with all of the turnovers. I believe Morris had 2 or 3 interceptions, and you usually don't win a football game when those interceptions get at more than 1.
Yeah.
So that's a good win. I think Florida State will still be okay, though. Yeah. I'm kind of rooting for them on the down low.
Yeah, they look good, and I'm sure they'll be okay. They've got a well-rounded team. But kind of speaking of and they have a big game this weekend, too, against Miami. So that's going to be another huge test for them, number 3 Miami. But who's your national championship pick after 5 weeks?
I've talked about them before, and I'm going to talk about them again. Let's put some respect on the Big 12 with Texas Tech.
Ooh.
They've looked really good all season, and mind you, they just had their first ranked opponent against Utah with their backup, Will Hammond. He had 0 interceptions and 2 touchdowns against a ranked opponent. When you have a backup quarterback that can ball when your first man goes out, I think that says a lot about your football team with that next man up mentality, that they are ready to continue the momentum with your team. And they've also only allowed 14 points max, and they've beaten these teams by 30-plus points. Not Utah, though. They beat them by about 24 points.
But that was a ranked matchup away, which is very impressive.
And they only held Utah to only 10 points. Byron Morton is expected to play this week against Houston, and that's also another undefeated Big 12 team, and I'm not too sure what to expect out of Houston. So if Texas Tech can continue this momentum in winning, I definitely will expect them to see them in the Big 12 championship and make a solid run for that CFP title. The Big 12, I mean, in general, we're not looked at as competitors for that title, especially after TCU's horrendous loss to Georgia a couple years ago. So I think if Texas Tech can keep this momentum going, we can put some respect on the Big 12's name, as we can produce great football teams that have the ability to compete with the top SEC teams, top Big Ten teams, and top ACC teams.
And look, Texas Tech, their schedule too, they don't play Iowa State or TCU, 2 of the better teams in the Big 12. Their schedule going forward is Houston, which I think they win, Kansas, which I think they win. Their toughest game is probably in 3 weeks. They have Arizona State again, or they play Arizona State at Arizona State in Tempe. And that's going to probably be a top 25 ranked matchup too. So that might be their toughest game. They also have BYU down the stretch as well, but Oklahoma State, Kansas State, UCF, and West Virginia don't scare me, and it's looking like the Red Raiders are going to make an appearance in the Big 12 championship if all things go according to plan. And their backup quarterback looks good too.
Yeah.
Even without Baron Morton, they still won pretty handedly. So, hey, the Red Raiders are here to stay. But my national championship pick right now, I don't want to say that Ohio State's going to repeat. I really like the Red Raiders.
You don't need to say
that. and you know what? I'm not going to, because I think that Penn State is going to bounce back, and that's my national championship pick right now. I think Penn State's going to bounce back. I know they looked bad against Oregon. I'm shocked. They looked bad, but I think they're going to turn things around. They're going to learn from this loss, and James Franklin might be playing for his job at this point with all of these big ranked losses. So hey, I'm gonna put it out there right now. This can change. It is after 5 weeks.
Honestly,
so I'm gonna go with Penn State.
I thought you were setting up to say Miami, just because of Carson Beck is a former UGA quarterback, and I know
the thing is, I just don't trust the ACC like that to get it done in the playoff. I think Big 12.
But you trust Penn State, who always seems.
I trust them more than any ACC team. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is definitely subject to change, and it probably will be. But that's going to do it for college football. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get into the NFL. What is going on with these injuries, Sarah? What is happening?
I don't know.
Every single day there's
the battle of
more
the backups this
there's
season.
More going on, and so we're going to get into all that. And hey, the Colts look good. But after this break, we're going to get into all that. Ready? Ready?
Yeah.
Welcome back to KCEN Kickoff here on 6 Plus, and we're actually going to get into some kickoff rules with the NFL because I think they are absolutely ridiculous, and we're seeing a lot of, let's just say, kicks missed in the landing zone. So if you aren't completely familiar with the new NFL kickoff rules, a touchback is not at the 30-yard line anymore. It's now at the 35. So you really don't want to give the opposing team the ball at the 35 for free with the touchbacks, because it used to just be most of the time these kickers would just kick it into the back of the end zone and then they'd take the touchback and then we'd play the game. But now with the new landing zone, which is from the 20-yard line to the receiving team's end zone, and a ball that is kicked in the landing zone must be returned. So there's no fair catch allowed inside the landing zone. But if the kicker misses the landing zone, then the opposing team gets the ball at the 40, which I think is just ridiculous. Like, oh, you didn't kick it in the landing zone? Oh, the team gets it at the 40. That, for kickers these days like Brandon Aubrey, so if you're the Cowboys and the opposing kicker misses the landing zone, you get the ball at the 40, that's one first down and you're in field goal range. Like, what are we doing? Who thought that this was a good idea? I do like the idea of the dynamic kickoff, not moving until the ball is in the receiver's hands or lands or whatever, just because it's safer and you don't have guys running full speed at each other. I think the dynamic kickoff is cool. But I think they had it right last year. The touchback at the 30 and this whole landing zone thing needs to go. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It is promoting more offense, but these defenses, if they give up one first down, then they're in trouble of giving up points, which is not cool. But it seems like it's been pretty hard for these kickers to actually hit the landing zone. I feel like multiple times a game we're seeing kicks not fall in the landing zone, and teams are getting penalized for it. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think you just are getting yardage for free if you don't kick in the landing zone. I feel like I would expect to see some rules like this in high school football, not in the most professional football league that there is. So
NFL stands for No Fun League.
Yeah, no fun league for sure. And I hate seeing a game decided on a field goal. Like, that's just kind of boring to me. It's like when there's 30 seconds left, you miss the landing zone, boom, that means you automatically are probably going to lose to a field goal. Like, that sucks, and it's not interesting. I would hope that after this season, with all of the complaints that are coming in about it, that the NFL will rework the structure. Because I'm with you. I like the dynamic kickoff. You know, I hate to see a lot of injuries. But, I mean, this season and injuries are like best friends because we have seen so many injuries. I feel like I'm watching the battle of the backups right now.
Yeah, just to get into some more injuries from this past week, Malik Neighbors is out for the season, and MetLife Turf claims another victim. I don't know how many people have to have season-ending injuries at MetLife Stadium before they do something about it, but I think that I saw on Twitter that there was a meeting going on after Neighbors' injury, because Joe Alt got hurt too. He got a high ankle sprain with a hairline fracture in his ankle on the Chargers. And it's like, you shouldn't be scared to go play at MetLife because of the injury risk, because of the turf there. But here we are in 2025, and it's still going on. Ricky Pearsall with a potential PCL sprain. 49ers have a short week on Thursday. Brock Purdy might not play. Ricky Pearsall might not play. Juwan Jennings might not play. The Niners are rough and injured as per usual. Lamar Jackson injured his hamstring. He's probably not going to play this week. Bucky Irving was seen at practice this morning in a walking boot and crutches, so he is probably not going to play this week either. And Trey Benson, the newest running back for the Arizona Cardinals that was RB1 right after James Conner suffered his season-ending injury, is now on IR with a knee injury. So that lines up our TCU alumni.
TCU legend.
Yeah, Amari DiMercado to be the running back 1 in Arizona. And this is just another week of full-on gruesome injuries. We talk about Neighbors and all these star players going down. It's like, when is it going to stop? Like, it's like the Grim Reaper is coming. Like, who is going to get injured this week? Who is going to be out this week? And it's ridiculous.
And we're not even seeing that. We're not even seeing this many injuries in college football, which I would argue is a little more scrappy, a little more physical at times than the NFL. So is something going on with the athletic training staff? Are these players not ready to go? Well, maybe not ready, is not warm before hitting the field, because I know MetLife is a scary place, but these injuries are happening across the league.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's got to be something going on behind the scenes, because I feel like I have never seen this many season-ending injuries across all teams this season. It's I'm speechless. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's just got to be something that's looked into, and they want to increase the games to 18 games, and then at that point I think you need a second bye week for these guys to recover. And I think a lot of it is just maybe the preseason, not playing as much because you're scared to run your guys out there in preseason for the risk of injury, but they're going down at the beginning of the season. But I think a lot of it is just bad luck. Injuries are really bad luck, and especially in a game where you're running at each other full speed, trying to tackle each other, it's going to happen. And it's just unfortunate, but some fantasy implications. Lamar Jackson probably won't be playing, so it's going to be Cooper Rush for the Ravens. Bucky Irving, if you have Rashad White, I would pick him up, start him. Rashad White's going to be good this week. And then Amari DiMercado should pick up that RB1 role in Arizona. And he's shown flashes of good stuff for Arizona as well. And Jackson Dart, I mean, that's really tough for him to lose his top weapon in Malik Neighbors, but it's going to open the door for Wan'Dale Robinson to be good in fantasy. And Sarah, how are you doing in fantasy? I heard you had a walk-off RJ Harvey touchdown at the last minute that mattered.
That was insane. Okay, so I was losing to Michael, one of our digital producers, by 33 points entering Monday Night Football, because I had 2 players left to play, and Garrett Wilson got me a solid 20 points with that last kind of prayer touchdown from the Jets. But RJ Harvey, I've started him, and he hasn't really given me much production, so I was just expecting to lose.
Yeah.
And then this is how it went. I was walking to go refill my water bottle, and then Jacob Wallin, another digital producer, announces, "Oh my gosh, Denver scored." I turn around, and I see with my own 2 eyes RJ Harvey, 13-yard receiving touchdown. And that gives me more points than a 1 or 2 yard rushing touchdown. So I was just like, there's no way I'm seeing this right now. And then I open fantasy, and I have beat Michael by 4 points. And I think if RJ Harvey would have gotten just a rushing touchdown, I wouldn't have beat him.
Yeah.
But because it was the receiving touchdown, I beat him. Sorry, I had to walk you guys through this because I was electric.
And those are the best wins. Those are the best wins.
And I keep my win streak going. I believed in my team.
So what are you now? Are you 3-1?
I believe I'm 3-1, and I'm currently 4th, probably tied for 4th place. Obviously, we still have a couple of undefeated players. Brandon, Matt Farrell.
I play Matt Farrell this week. So.
And Matt Gevhard, our assistant news director. So
yeah, I play Matt Farrell. He has Bijan on bye this week, which is really good for me.
Yeah.
I did beat Sydney this past week. She's now 0-4, and she has Tyreek. So that's unfortunate. And we didn't even mention Tyreek's season-ending injury.
Oh yeah.
And then again, that opens the door for Jalen Waddle too. But it just goes into there's just so many we can't even keep up at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I played Samantha this week, but she put up 120 points against Adrian last week. So
hey, Samantha's no pushover.
She discredits her team, but I still give her credit that she has a great team and could beat me. Jordan Love and the Packers are on a bye week though, so I do have a little bit of an advantage there, but my quarterback is also Cam Ward. And
Yeah,
Brock
and
Purdy,
so
that's not getting me anything.
I was talking about like the injuries too, and I have Bucky Irving, so I might have to start Nick Chubb this week, I think. But I am 1 week closer to getting Rashee Rice back from suspension, which should be great. And kind of just moving away from fantasy now. Some big storylines in the league have been the Colts, and they almost got it done against the Rams. Adonai Mitchell, I don't know if you saw the clip, Sarah, but he like stuck the ball out before he went into the end zone, and he let go. And we've seen this before, and then it's a touchback, so the touchdown didn't count. So the Colts, they really gave it their all against the Rams, and Daniel Jones still looks good. I know he had the interception at the beginning of the game, but do you think the Colts are for real?
100. I think they're for real. I mean, Daniel Jones, I feel for him so much because of all of the hate and, bad things that he was getting when he was on the Giants, and now he just looks revived on this Colts team. And so, yeah, I think they're back, and I know I'm a 49ers fan, but on the side, I'm kind of rooting for the Colts.
Yeah, it's always great
Daniel
to see.
Jones, yeah.
It's always great to see a quarterback resurgence. We've seen it with Baker in Tampa reviving his career. Sam Darnold when he got on the Vikings, and now he's on the Seahawks. And it's looking like Daniel Jones might be that next quarterback reclamation story that we've seen. And the Colts have always had a good roster these past couple of years, but it's really evident now how much Anthony Richardson was holding them back in the offensive department. They just really needed someone that could make those short and intermediate throws to get them going down the field. And you're seeing what a healthy Jonathan Taylor can be. He is an absolute monster. He looks like probably the best running back in football right now, and it's not even close. So the Colts are moving on. They're going forward, and I'm really happy for Shane Steichen, their head coach. He's finally getting some success. He's been a great play caller since he's been there with the Colts. They just haven't had that quarterback position since he's been there. So I do think the Colts are for real. And we've seen how bad Daniel Jones can be, so I'm not going to full on push my chips in with the Colts yet. But he looks at least competent enough with a good head coach. And that's not to say Brian Daboll isn't a good head coach, but some really good play calling to kind of play to his strengths and utilize the running game with Jonathan Taylor. So yeah, I think the Colts are for real. It's going to be tough in the AFC though, with the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens. Even though they're 1-3, I think they'll turn things around. But speaking of the Bills, is anyone going to beat Buffalo? I know we haven't had a perfect season since the 72 Dolphins, but I think the only team that is on their schedule right now is the Eagles in Week 16. I know they play Kansas City as well, which could be a tough game. And division games are always important. We're going to talk about this. Oh, the Bills going to lose the game, and watch them lose to the Patriots this weekend. But Buffalo looks really, really good, and I don't know who's going to be able to keep up with their offense because the Eagles look like they're struggling in ways, even though they're winning.
Yeah, I feel sometimes I kind of compare the Bills to Penn State in a way. I feel like this is a team that also tends to choke when the lights are too bright. But I really like what they got going for him. Josh Allen is a newly married man, so he's got that going for him. James Cook has been insane, and I'm lucky to have him on my fantasy team, which has been nice. This team looks really good. The Ravens are having a lot of problems with injuries also. Yeah. So they're definitely struggling. And the Chiefs are just not that good, and I will die on this hill that I think they're overrated, especially this season. The Bills, if they don't get it done, they'll never get it done this season. I think we are in their window, and it is closing.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the spot there, Sarah.
It's like I would love to see Josh Allen get a ring. So
yeah, and the Bills too. They've been through. Their fans have been through so much, and I think they deserve a ring. But I still am pulling for that Niners Super Bowl. That quest for 6 continues. But enough with the Bills. We know they're good, but hey, I think that they have a chance to go 17-0. I think they have the best chance of anyone that's left undefeated. So, but with that being said, let's get into our Survivor Lock of the Week. Even though I'm out, are you out?
Yeah, I picked the Giants. I think the Giants would have won that game if it wasn't.
The Giants did win this weekend.
No, I picked them against the Chiefs.
Okay, yeah,
on Sunday night.
That was kind of a
decision. I leaned into that pick because the Chiefs hadn't looked really good, and so I thought they would continue to play terrible. But now the Giants, Jackson Dart is finally getting his chance to start, and he got his first career touchdown in the NFL this past weekend. And so
he got his first win too.
Yeah, and he's got, a lot of positive momentum going into his second start. So, and the Saints haven't looked all that great either. So I'm picking the Giants over the Saints with this newly found winning momentum.
Yeah,
and Jackson Dart, starting to get his game going.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's just no Malik Neighbors is tough, and I don't think the Saints have looked that bad. They really played a good game with Buffalo last weekend. So I wouldn't bet against the Saints. Hey, the Saints might go marching in.
I wrote that one as my gamble. As my gamble.
My lock.
My lock has the Cardinals over the Titans.
You just kind of stole mine. But
I had no idea you picked
the Cardinals over the Titans. I mean, Cam Ward said it himself that they look like butt right now. They look like butt right now. And when your quarterback's saying that about your team, that's not a good look. Brian Callahan, their coach, was frustrated. I think he's probably going to get fired by the end of the season. And
also, not to mention, Cam Ward is a rookie. First year in the league, and he's out at press conferences calling his own team butt.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing for a franchise.
Yeah, he's got to get some media training for sure. But I think the Cardinals should very much win this game. And hey, if you haven't picked the Rams at all, I think that's another lock. The 49ers, I think, have zero chance of beating the Rams on Thursday Night Football. And hey, if they do win, they would very much surprise me because they look terrible against the Jaguars. So if you haven't used the Rams, I know it's a divisional game, but the Rams are going to stomp the 49ers. You're hearing that from me right now. But I think that's going to do it for everything, Sarah, that we have. Just some more content that we have this week. We have, of course, our Friday Night Lights coverage. We had our Game of the Week reveal with Sydney yesterday. And so we'll be covering the Axtell Valley Mills game for our Game of the Week. And then, of course, all the other games around Central Texas. Then we have Baylor and A&M coverage on Saturday, like we had mentioned before. A&M taking on Mississippi State. Baylor with Kansas State. And then, of course, right here on KCEN, you can watch Patriots-Bills Sunday Night Football. We were just talking about how good Josh Allen is. Hopefully he can keep it up. But the Patriots look okay, too. They don't look half bad. They got to win against the Panthers last weekend. And just kind of an update, we started the show with baseball, and these games are still going on. The Guardians have taken the lead against the Tigers in the bottom of the eighth. Guardians are now up 3-1 over the Tigers, so it's looking like that might go to a Game 3.
We might have to check on our news director.
Yeah, our news director's a big
fan.
Tigers fan. I'm actually going to try to push him to come on next week if the Tigers are still in it. I think it'd be super fun. And then the Padres and Cubs are in the third inning. Padres with a 1-0 lead. So we'll have to see how all these games shake out and what we'll be looking at next week in the world of baseball. I'm very excited. It's been a great postseason. It's only been one day, so very excited to see how things shake out. But that's going to do it for this week here on KCEN Kickoff. Sarah, thank you for joining me, and we will see you guys next week.